It's Thursday, August 2nd, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On today's show, we learn more about the Mahar Wellfield filtration system construction, take the Silver Express to the Senior Center, and why Barnstable beaches are the friendliest on Cape Cod. Let's start with some news you can use. 'Tis the election season. 2 notes for ballots and voter registration. Absentee ballots will be available in the town clerk's office approximately the first week of August. That's now. If you need to vote absentee, come into the office after August 6th and we will be happy to help you. Absentee balloting closes at 4:30 p.m. Friday, August 31st. August 15th, voter registration closes for the September election. If you're already registered, you do not have to re-register. But if you have moved, please check with the town clerk's office prior to August 15th to make sure you are still eligible to vote. The Recycling Center has a reminder for you. Make sure you are separating out the tin cans and aluminum. PJ Kelleher explains.
We are starting July 1st to separate out steel, tin, aluminum, food cans, beverage cans from the single stream recycling and looking to market that a different way. Well, when it first started, we had a zero cost on our recycling being hauled away by our vendor, and beginning of this year, we've now started to have to pay over $95 a ton for our single stream recycling to be hauled out and baled and separated and moved on in the market. Taking out the metal, essentially it's just the metal cans, taking them out of the single stream will lower the weights that we're sending out the door when we have our containers hauled out. For every ton of weight we can remove, it's less money that we have to end up paying out, and we can convert that ton into money that may be able to come back to us as a rebate instead of a cost. All right, with the separation of the tin cans, steel cans that we're looking to do, they are ones like a food can, soup, sauces, most of them come in that. Tuna cans is another example. Beverage cans that come in, pineapple juice sometimes comes in a can. Things like that is what we'll be looking to separate. We will have a new container set up with updated signage to let everyone know where you want to put it. Aluminum cans that soda and alcoholic beverages come in, those still have a deposit, and we do have the deposit shed with local charities at the end of the recycling line, which that can always be put in there, and that goes to a good cause every time.
Clean water is vital to life. We drink it, shower and wash with it, but sometimes take it for granted. Hans Kaiser, supervisor for the Water Supply Division, which provides water service to Hyannis, is committed to providing clean water for residents. Channel 18 visited the Mahar Wellfield to learn more about the new filtration system construction plans and how our water gets and stays drinkable. We're here at the Mahar Wellfield with Hans Kaiser, who is the Hyannis Water Supervisor. Hans, this is some good news. The monies to really redesign this wellfield has been passed through Town Council. You're ready to go.
Yes, we are. We're happy with that, and definitely thanks to the Town Councilor. All of them voted for this project, and also the Hyannis Water Board was in full support of this project. And what we're designing here and going to build is a filtration plant, which is actually in addition to the existing facilities. Because we're planning to, with this facility, to take out the iron and manganese out of the water. We're planning to take the 1.4 dioxin contaminant out of the water, and the PFAS type of contaminants. So there's a lot that this new facility needs to do.
So with the new facility coming on, let's just back up a little bit. So this isn't just something we decided to do 3 years ago. This project kind of had, pen to paper looking, because these contaminants were in the water and they're not easily removed.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. We discovered these contaminants in the water. They're the what I call emerging contaminants. They're not regulated yet. The federal government, EPA, required us to do sampling and testing for these contaminants in 2014, 2015. we discovered 1.5 dioxin and up in the Mary Dunn area, PFOS, PFOA contaminants. Mary Dunn, we dealt with that with activated carbon, and over here we ended up shutting down one well and building an interconnection with the town of Yarmouth Water Department and mixing the two waters, and in that way diluted it enough that it's safe to drink and under the health advisory levels. But long term, it's really not a good situation, because dilution is not really the preferred action in our judgment. And the other issue is, if you spend close to $1 million a year on purchasing water from Yarmouth, that's a lot of money. And the other issue is, if there's a problem in Yarmouth, their first priority is their own customers, which I can understand. It's just not a secure and safe option for the ratepayers in Hyannis. So what we did is we went with a preliminary design option to see what our options were for removal of these contaminants. Last summer we did a pilot testing sequence where we had some trailers out right in front here that actually had the testing equipment that mimicked what the final equipment would be and would do, and to make sure that our water actually gets run to this testing equipment and then just make sure that it actually works. And that was fairly successful and also eye-opening, because we were originally planning to do the carbon filtration units first and then later on take care of the UV. But come to find out, during this pilot testing, we couldn't do that. We had to do everything at the same time. So that's where we're doing, that's where we're planning to move forward with.
Right.
And right now the design is about at the 50% stage, so we're moving right ahead.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the design stage. I'm a science geek here, and what I understand from you is that your staff and your engineers are really involved in this process, because eventually they're going to have to manage it and or repair it once it's done. So give us a little indication of how you worked with the design company and how important that is.
We basically give them a general outline of what we need and why. They put something on paper as an initial design, and then we get together with operations, in this case the Suez operators. We have a whole bunch of DPW personnel involved, and the engineers. We hash out all the operational issues. Startup, if something breaks down, how do you fix it? Do we have enough valves, enough piping in place to bypass things, to blow off like wastewater, etc. It's quite an intense process.
So this particular site here eventually is, this back open site here is where this is going to go. Kind of walk us through the timeline of what's going to happen from now, since the money's been appropriated, to when this new well field is going to come online, the new station.
It's quite a process. We're planning to submit to DEP for financial and technical approval design plans and bid specs in October this year. Hopefully we'll get approval by the end of November and then go out to bid in December, January timeframe. Pick a designer, sorry, not a designer, a contractor, and we have to deal with filed sub-bids and because of the way the construction works. So we hope to break ground in the spring of 2019, construct all through the summer, all through the winter, and have the plant online before the summer of 2020.
Wow, that's an aggressive timeline.
We have to.
We have to, right. So,
Yes.
you know, water, I don't think, well, I do think that most people know about water quality, but it's really important that since this is a municipal owned water department, that you're always constantly thinking about the residents who are consuming this water, and that, you know, a lot of the things that you do here are really literally for the residents.
Yep, that's absolutely the case.
Okay. So it's all designed. You flip a switch and it goes online?
No, it's not that easy. There's a lot of sampling, testing, adjusting, fine-tuning, which is going to take probably a couple of months. And then the DEP needs to come through the facility. They do their testing, and then if they're satisfied, they will approve and sign off on the facility. And only after we get that final approval can we actually go online.
Okay.
So it's still quite a process. The interesting part about this facility is it's going to be the first facility of this kind in Massachusetts.
Really?
So it is the fact that we are going to be treating not only iron and manganese, which is kind of standard, but the fact that we're also going to remove emerging contaminants, PFAS, PFOA, and 1.4 dioxin is the first in the state of Massachusetts.
Right. And these emerging contaminants, this is just starting to come to the forefront within the DEP and some of the other agencies here. Touch upon, you know, these aren't regulated yet. We don't know what these contaminants may or may not do.
Well, we got a pretty good idea because of the health advisory and the health issues that are being researched. The issue is the EPA and Mass DEP up till shortly didn't really have a good sense of the safe levels of these contaminants in the drinking water. On top of that, the laboratory techniques and equipment that is out there now that wasn't out there 10, 15 years ago makes it possible to detect these compounds to very, very minute levels. 10, 20 years ago, you just wasn't possible to do that. But with that also comes the next set of questions that is more philosophical in the sense that, you know, what's the right level and what's not, because before that you couldn't measure it, now you can, but what do you do with that information? And the town of Barnstable, especially DPW, we basically caution on the side of safety, because we think that it's important to provide maximum safety for our residents, and not try to minimalize things.
So is this facility being the first of its kind in Massachusetts,
Yes.
you can actually bring back data to some of these agencies with these emerging contaminants?
Yes, we do. And actually, we also work right now with not only the Silent Spring Institute, but also the Harvard University, the School of Public Health in Rhode Island, the School of Public Health in Rhode Island, work with them together with the STEEP program to get the research done and to really get a comprehensive look on what these issues are and how to address them properly.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much, Hans. Anything else you want to
welcome.
tell anybody?
No, basically the water is safe and to drink. I drink it every day, and we just keep on moving forward and making sure that the water is safe and fight for clean and safe drinking water right in here in Hyannis. And that's quite a challenge, but we're up to it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. The Friends of Barnstable Council on Aging are continuing their commitment to easing the transportation challenges of our senior community by leasing a new hybrid Toyota Camry for the Senior Center's Silver Express program. Channel 18 met the new car in the parking lot to learn more about the program and this valuable resource.
So in 2015, we had the opportunity through the town to lease an electric vehicle at a heavily discounted rate. There was a $7,500 rebate from the state DEP, as well as a $7,500 rebate from the dealer. And so we were able to engage into a 3-year lease for a Nissan Leaf electric vehicle for a total cost of about, it was less than $5,500, which we saw as a win-win, because what the electric vehicle allowed us to do was to reduce the overall costs of running the transportation program, given the fact that the handicapped accessible vans that we run are very heavy on fuel, and also with maintenance. The electric vehicle offered us an opportunity to provide our transportation services to older adults that really don't need to have the handicapped accessible transportation that the vans provided.
Well, after we saw what an enormous asset it was to the seniors here for all their transportation needs, we could see what a huge difference it made for them. And so when the time came that the Leaf lease was up, we were already looking forward to what the new car would be, and we were just so excited about it that they would continue it. And at one time we thought, well, would we keep the lease and buy it? And it was just decided that we really needed a vehicle that could do both, because the Leaf was limited to how far it could really go. So to take some of the stress out of that to the drivers, we thought that having both the hybrid was definitely the way to go.
The new Camry runs on electricity that's generated by gasoline. It goes 55 miles to the gallon, but I think we're doing a little bit better than that. And the cost of it is so much less than trying to drive a van. We do have 2 vans, but we use the second one only as a backup.
About a year or so ago, we had started planning, knowing that we were in the final year of the lease for the Nissan Leaf. And some of the things that we talked about, that we felt that this was such a wonderful enhancement of the program that we definitely wanted to continue to utilize an electric vehicle. But the Leaf only ran on the electric charge, so one of the things that we wanted to do was introduce a hybrid vehicle, which would give us a little bit more ability to provide longer distances, because when the charge runs out, it will actually convert over to gas. So that was a benefit, and we also felt like we needed a larger vehicle that was more comfortable for the clients that we transport. And so we were able to find a lease, working with the purchasing department, for a 2018 Toyota Camry. Luckily, our friends group, who were so supportive of the initial 3-year lease and really understood how important this was to us in providing a vital service to seniors in our community that can no longer drive themselves to get to appointments in the grocery store, in the bank, and to the senior center, to our day program here. They fully supported continuing having an electric vehicle, and they agreed unanimously to fully fund the 3-year lease on the Toyota Camry, which came to just over $9,000.
It's very convenient for the drivers and the clients. They enjoy the fact that they're closer to the driver and to each other, and they communicate with each other more freely than they would if they were in the van and spread apart by bigger seats and everything. We have volunteers that drive the Camry, and the volunteers are more apt to volunteer to drive the car than they would the van. I still need people to drive the van if possible, but I still need some backup for the Camry also. We use the Camry for doctor's appointments mostly, and our adult supportive day program. We use it in the morning and the afternoon, and that was one of the things with the Leaf, Nissan Leaf, was that we couldn't run it all day long. We had to have it off around noontime so it could charge up again for the afternoon. In order to support the Adult Supportive Day program more, we needed to have a second vehicle to be able to transport our clients to the program and home from the program. If you are interested, if you're a senior over 60 years old or disabled adult, you can call for a ride here at the Senior Center at 508-862-4752.
It's been really beneficial to us. For the last month or so, we've had the Camry. It's now in action. It's out there on the roads throughout our 7 villages every day, and our clients, as well as our volunteer drivers and the board members of the Friends who voted to support it, are all in love with it, and it's just been a wonderful enhancement to our program.
We're just pleased and proud to be able to help, our seniors here. That's what we do, and we love doing it. So I'm very happy about it. I'm really thrilled, and I'm glad we're able to do it.
It's not just the ocean and fun in the sun that makes Barnstable's beaches special. It's the people. Meet Delaney Drake, the Barnstable Recreation Supervisor for Calmus Beach, a passionate young woman with a permanent smile and a love for the ocean. Delaney Drake, beach supervisor at Calmus, is more than just a beach supervisor. We got a hot tip that she does so much here at the beach for kids as well as adults. Delaney,
Hi.
nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
So we got a hot tip from our town manager that you create all sorts of different collages and do a lot of arts and crafts kind of things to make people's day here at Calmus. Tell us a little bit about some of the collages that you've created here at Calmus.
Okay, sure, yeah. So I've made a couple of different ones. I have kind of one side of the bathhouse is educational and one side is more like conservation messages. The first one I started with was actually a balloon exhibit. We were picking trash on the front beach. Well, every day we pick trash on the front beach ever since I was a lifeguard. And we found so many balloons at Calmus. I don't really know why it is, like the currents, the wind, it's really windy here. So, but we find tons of those little strings, the little ribbons, and sometimes they have balloons on them, sometimes they don't. So I told my lifeguards, save all your balloons this week. We're making a display. And I got a shadow box. And I just put them all in it, and I made like a little sign that kind of explains why balloons are bad for the environment. And then after that one, I started with a shell exhibit just because I was curious about all the different like shells and organisms, and I started doing some research like just for myself. So there's like some shell shadow displays, and then there's a little like touch exhibit where kids can like pick up the shells and see what they found. Yeah, and I have a couple others too.
So you had an exhibit of cigarette butts, which I thought was interesting since Barnstable doesn't allow smoking on the beach, but it is in the parking lot. Tell us a little bit about why that's important and why you made that collage.
Yeah, okay, so cigarettes are the worst. I find them everywhere for years. I have found so many, the amount of cigarette butts we've picked up at Calmus, it's crazy. Ever since I was a lifeguard, you can pick 8 hours a day and there will still be cigarette butts. Even by the time at some point someone's gonna be throwing cigarette butts. But in the beginning of the season this year, I was picking up trash one day and I just found so many. And I said, okay, I'm saving these. And my lifeguards were just laughing at me, here I am, I have my gloves on. I was taking all the cigarette butts into one bucket, and I got shadow boxes. And I just glued them all on, and we counted 657 that I picked up in a single day. But yeah, so we don't allow it on the beaches, but we allow it in the parking lot. But I mean, they kind of fly everywhere with the heavy winds and everything. But yeah, it was so many.
When you have done these exhibits, whether it's on the conservation side and education side for the little animals of the sea or the cigarette butts, when people stop and look at those exhibits, what are you hoping they take away from those?
Honestly, anything. I mean, whether it's their favorite little sea animal, and they finally know what it is. I've lived here for so long, and I had no idea about the whelk egg cases. I don't know, the little curly kind of brown, they kind of look like scalloped potatoes in my opinion. But yesterday I was talking to a patron, and I was telling him how if you open up one of those little the dried out little scalloped potatoes, inside is a perfect little tiny whelk. It's the size of 4 grains of sand. You know, it's tiny, but I don't know. It's just like I feel like there's just so much magic out there, and like we don't know so much of it. The patrons, every now and then I'll hear little things like this beach is like a museum, or you know, just little things like that, and it just makes my day because I don't know if they can take away something, learn something, or maybe next time suggest something other than a balloon release, or you know, throw out their cigarette butt if they choose to smoke. You know, just or put it away responsibly. You know. I don't know.
And we noticed that you have a kindness garden here as well. Tell us a little bit of why you started that.
Oh, I just love it. You know, it's just, you know, the whole idea is so great. Like a positive message can really just impact someone's life, you know? So yeah, we started this last year in the summer, and I don't know, every now and then, actually, you probably remember last summer it was really rainy. So a lot of the times, like the lifeguards, if we had like, you know, a bunch of extra staff, we'd just be like making little kindness rocks. I just think it's so nice. I don't know. Every now and then, like people will just be all around here, kind of like looking at them. Kids will sit over here, and it's just fun.
And you talk about a little bit about the lifeguards. There's a lot of people that make the beach run.
Oh.
And one of the things that we just noticed in one of your rooms was the smile buckets that were there. What's that all about?
Yeah, so we have little mailboxes here at Calmus. It's called Send a Smile, and it's just kind of a way to say thank you, you know, or like, I really appreciated this, or any little thing, or like, you did such a great job today. We just write little positive messages to each other, and it makes each other, I don't know, work better as a team, you know, and get to know each other better. And I don't know, when you do something really good, it's nice to feel acknowledged, you know, it's just, I don't know, so.
It is. Yeah. And we love all of what you've done at Calmus, Delaney. We wish you the best in grad school, headed off, I'm sure, probably mid-August or so.
Exactly.
So have a wonderful year, and we'll see you back here maybe next summer.
Thank you, I hope so. Thank you, guys.
This is a don't miss event on our community calendar for Friday, August 3rd. Join the Town of Barnstable, the Barnstable Police Department, and the People of Action for the 3rd Annual Unity Day. The festivities get underway at 4 p.m. on the town green and include free food, music, children's activities, and more. Bring a lawn chair and a smile and come show everyone that Barnstable is a special, unique place with strong community bonds. Comments, suggestions, accolades? Connect with us on Facebook, email us, or send us an old-fashioned note by carrier pigeon. Channel 18 works for you. I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.